On behalf of the Seattle Asian American Film Festival, I would like to welcome Minh Trinh, director of Goodbye Mother, who's joining us all the way from Vietnam, and Hang Nguyen, one of the producers of Goodbye Mother, who's joining us from Texas. Thank you both for making the time to be here with us.
Yeah, thank you, and hello, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this wonderful film and for joining us in this conversation. I wanted to first start with Minh. What inspired you to make this film?
Okay, so I used to study in the US, and then when I come back, the job of the director is to make a very first film of the career. So like when the writer approached me and sent me this script, I feel extremely inspired because I love the family theme in the film, and also it's also touched the theme of like individual choices versus the expectation from the big family. So that's why I really want to make this film.
Fantastic. And how long did it take to complete it? Because there was so many cast members and it was such a substantial film and so many places that you shot it. Was it a very lengthy process for you to complete it?
So I first received the project in 2017, and then we had more than 1 year to finish the script, and then to win several picks to make to have the green light for the film. And then we had 2018 to finish the reproduction and production, and then we complete the film in 2019. So basically, it's almost like 3 years of the whole process. Yeah,
that's a long time, and I'm glad you made it right before coronavirus hit.
Yeah,
and so it didn't delay your production. That was very close. Hang, what were some of the most memorable moments for you in being one of the producers of the film?
Oh, there were like so many memorable moments because this is, I think, the biggest project of this scale that I work at as a producer so far. So, but to find a specific moment to share right now, I would say you remember the sequence where the whole family has a big fight, and we had to shot that scene. We had to shoot that scene the whole night, right? And then the actors, like the fight makes really loud noises, and we were shooting in our suburban area where there were a lot of chickens and roosters.
Oh my God.
So the fighting noises kind of wake up all the roosters around, and then they start like making sounds even louder than us. So we have to like shoot and then stop and for them to be quiet again, and then we start shooting, and then it was really memorable.
Did you learn how to quiet chickens then?
We tried, but we fell, so we just take time for them to quiet themselves, to be quiet themselves.
That's really funny because that's such a charged scene too. I couldn't imagine having to break character and then tell chickens to be quiet. That's great. Were there any particular challenges aside from the chickens in the making of this film as a producer?
A lot of challenges, particularly in their funding because of their nature of their topic of the film related to LGBT topics. So many funders were still skeptical about that topics, and then during the production, besides things like chickens, we had to face the like changing weather because we were shooting during the rainy season, right, Ming?
Yes.
Yeah, with monsoon and stuff. So schedule the whole shoot to accommodate to the changes of the weather, because like we have like scenes like sunny scenes in sunny days, as well as we have rainy scenes as well in the film, the story. So yeah, to match the story weather and the like actual weather that is happening, it's really a headache.
That's really hard. I guess for you, Minh, what was one of the most memorable moments for you in directing the film, and what was one of your biggest challenges?
Yeah, for me because this is my debut also. So I have to admit that I had never really like direct a scene with like 10 people in just one scene before. And then we have 3 scenes like that in the film, and more, all of the films are about eat family dining dinner. And so yeah, I did feel kind of like nervous before directing all of the group scene, but because of all of the actors were so good, and then they understand their characters so well, and then they know how to collaborate with each other. So like it turned out to be a really great experience for me directing group scene in the film. And one of the most memorable scene is like the death ceremony of the father, when we have like all of the members of the big family, and also we also have extras of the guests and relatives of the big family. So, but in only one day, we have to shoot all of those kind of drama happening on the stage as well, and also like all of the secret moments, all of the look between each characters. So like, but we managed to finish all everything in just only one day. So like, I feel extremely comfortable with that scene in the final film.
Wow. Yeah, I noticed that several scenes had a lot of people. In general, there was a lot of people. I couldn't imagine how hard it was to do that. And I thought the performances were really, really outstanding, really excellent. The chemistry was so good between the actors. Tell me more about the casting process. Were you finding these actors from Vietnam? Was it difficult given the topic?
Yeah, it's extremely difficult for us because in Vietnam we don't have many choices of actors, uh, not only for LGBT role but for like all of, different kind of roles in general. So like we had to like start casting from scratch. So we have to ask for fresh faces to come for audition. So like it's a really long process of like finding fresh faces that they want to commit, then they want to devote, and they also have like acting skill, and then and then they want to kind of like play a really like challenging roles. Playing LGBTs in Vietnam also really challenging, and also like for my actors, I have a strong belief in them because during their casting they just show their interest and show their devotion, and it feel like okay, they want to take the role so much because it seems like they want to devote everything for the role. So like I have to start like okay, so after they agree to take the part, basically I have to manage to set up a lot of like not only auditions and rehearsals, but also more sessions that help them to build up the chemistry days after days. So finally in the film, although they have never met each other before, it seemed like it looked and make people believe like they are a real couple in the real life. And also for the rest of the family members, I did have a little bit of lucky things because all of the veterans actors, they like the roles. So like when I approach them, they agree to take the roles immediately. So it's a really good like directing process of combination of fresh faces with like more like established actors in Vietnam.
Wow, it's honestly hard to tell who was the fresh face and who was the veteran because the acting was so good and the chemistry was excellent. Can I ask who were some of the veteran actors that you got and who were some of the newer ones?
For example, like the grandmom, she's really famous for, she like basically like if you watch a Vietnamese film, you will see her face really often because she loved acting, and then she full of energy. So directors, they love to work with her. And also like for the auntie, if you see like, remember the two aunties, they are kind of famous in many art house films of Vietnam. We did have a little bit of challenge to find a model because most of the actresses in Vietnam, they kind of prefer the other roles in the film because they think like they're more expressive. They're more funny and more expressive. But for the mom, it's extremely challenging for an actress who want to take that part because she kind of like keep silence for
Yeah,
most of the
very
film.
reserved.
Yeah. So basically, we did have a hard time, but finally we found Hồng Đào. She's also in LA now. Yeah.
Oh,
She Vietnamese American now, and she's most of her role recently more like uh, tend to be like comedic roles, not
oh,
dramatic
really?
roles. Yeah, so this was a big surprise for the Vietnamese audience to see her to transform herself from a comedian to like a more like drama actress in Goodbye Mother. So it's also like a big lucky things for us to have like the Hồng Đào in the film.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Many Vietnamese Americans who like was born and grew up here told me that they were surprised to see Hồng Đào in our film because like they were more used to her comedic roles before.
Oh my gosh, that's really interesting because she was very much a very introspective character. She didn't say a lot, but there was a lot of expression in her face and her like observing the other, like what's happening in the story. So I really enjoyed that. Now the grandmother character, one of my favorites. Was there a particular role for her dementia in the story? I felt like there was a reason for that. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so basically, like it's come from the ideas of the writer himself for sure. But I also love that ideas because we all believe that like when she have that kind of disease, sometimes like she understand things, sometimes she forget everything. But the only thing that lasts and stay is like the love. So that's why like although she lost most of her memory and then sometimes she forgot things, but she always remember that she has a really like beloved grandson. So
Yeah.
I think that's also like belongs to the theme and the message of the film. Yeah.
Let's see here. So did any of your own families, I don't know if you come from big families, inform some of the dynamics of the characters in the film?
Okay, so I will answer first, and Han also have her point of view about this. I come from a really big family, and although like the situation of my family may different because we more like urban families, but we did have ceremonies. We had family gatherings. We had different family members with different like characteristics, different like wishes, different lifestyles. So I feel like there is always there is a tendency that we love each other so much, but we also can dramatize all of the things inside the family so much because I just feel like it's just like a wave. Sometimes it's really calm, but sometimes when we have like issues that we cannot like solve and cannot be straightforward to each other, it's just keep like calm and then like it's wait until like it's boils reach the boiling point. So yeah, that's why we have like the traumatic situation, the big argument, confrontation. And my family also like have that kind of things that every 2 or 3 years. I don't know. It's really hard to expect and predict. So, but it's already there. So this is I think it's a nature of an Asian family.
Large Asian families, yeah.
Yeah. Hang.
Yeah, I think one of the things I like about the script and the reason why I chose to produce this project is that the family in the film is like so familiar, and we can all see ourselves and our family in the film. And I mean, I also have a big family, and whenever I go to the countryside to meet them, like like the dynamic is kind of the same, the conflicts, and I have aunties like that too. So it's so fun to work on this project, and the thing that we hear the most from our actors and the audience when we show the film is that, oh, this family is like so familiar. Like I can see myself and my family in that. I have a grandma exactly like that. I have an auntie exactly like that. So yeah, I guess it's like something we all share. Like those like
Yeah,
feelings.
they seemed very, very real. It was just once in a while, it was hard to imagine that this wasn't even like this was acting. It was just so real. It was great. Um, let's see here. Is there a message in this film for audiences to come away thinking about their mothers differently?
Okay, for the message of the film, I think every single audience will have a different take on it. But for me, I really love the final scene of the film, like when the mom, yeah, she has her own life after everything. I wish my mom also like can practice the same thing. This is just the wish from my really personal feeling, and yeah. So I hope that people and all of the children and all of the mother parents, we can just like understand and take time, try to understand each other more after watching the film. This is the hope that the thing that I hope that going to happen. Yeah.
That's a great message. Yeah, for both sides to try to come to understanding. That's a really good takeaway. Last question for both of you. I guess what's the greatest lesson you've learned now that you've made the film? Second to last question, actually. What's the greatest lesson you've learned, and what are you working on now?
Yeah. Okay, so the lesson that I have learned from this film, okay, this is my debut once again. So I love like collaboration with all of the people. I believe like the collaboration between me and all of the creative people, crew, the producers, the DPs, the writer, the production designer were really helpful and great, and also like all of the process working with the actors. So okay, so I think like okay, sometimes like we have different take and different view, imagination about the script or about the actors or actress. But finally, I think it should be like the actors who come and inspire us to make the script more suitable for them in a way. Because actually, for Goodbye Mother, we did have a really hard time finding the perfect Van and Ian in the film. But after a while, I had to adapt and change my mind. I had to really like find the actors that make me believe and make me feel inspired to work with. So that's the lesson that I have learned from making this film.
Nice.
And
Okay.
Oh, I think the lesson I learned is like pretty simple. I think when we like honestly want to do something and put love and efforts in it, it will show and it will persuade people to come on board. I think because like this project, I think it's not it's something it's quite difficult to. I'm still amazed that we have managed to bring it into life. So and it has been difficult. So but yeah, that's what I learned throughout the process. And at the moment, Ming and I are developing our new feature together, but I'm not sure when it will be realized because Ming has so many projects now after the Goodbye Mother, and I am also working on my own short film as a director too. I'm attending their film program at UT Austin, the school that Ming went to years ago.
Oh wow! Following his footsteps in your education.
yeah.
Nice. Min, what are you working on? You're working on this feature. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I'm working with Hang in the future. I also like working on time traveling films, a time
And
traveling film,
traveling. Nice.
and also like it's also like touch the family and love film. So like I'm very confident and comfortable about this film. Yeah.
Great. That sounds really exciting. Well, I want to thank the both of you for joining us today, and I want to wish you great success. I really, really enjoyed the film. I was really excited to get to do this Q&A. And to our audience, thank you so much for joining the 9th Seattle Asian American Film Festival. If you haven't done so already, please take our participant survey, where we use that data to help us get grants and sponsorships. And that's what helps us to put on the festival. If you want to join some of our other programs, go to seattleaaff.org. You can check out the trailers and get tickets. So thanks again, Hang and Min, for joining us all the way from Texas and Vietnam. Again, congratulations on a really, really spectacular film, and take care.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation and for having our film in your program. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.